What's up, guys? Today we have an interesting video. It's tanking in New World versus tanking in WoW from a longtime WoW player. So stay tuned and maybe you'll see some differences. So I put the two videos side by side. This is just a random dungeon from World of Warcraft and Depths from New World, which to me is one of the harder dungeons I've done so far. I'm now currently level 50, and the last boss in Depths is no joke. No real format, just talking, but these are some of the differences I see in tanking in New World versus tanking in World of Warcraft. So let's get into it. Can you really talk about tanking unless you're talking about threat or hate? Probably not. That's the most important thing. That's what separates a tank from DPS character, right? Except for the health pool and the damage. But so threat in both retail WoW and New World, I think it's pretty good. I think that you can keep threat generally well on New World if you have a Carnelian gem slotted and the proper abilities and stuff. If you're just going in with a Warhammer without a Carnelian gem, no, you're probably not going to keep aggro unless you're full strength build, and in which case you're probably going to get one shot by General Thorpe. But New World versus Classic WoW is a total difference, man. Total difference. And New World actually comes out ahead on that front by a large margin. Classic WoW, Classic Burning Crusade, you would have one taunt on a 15-second cooldown versus a 10-minute cooldown AoE taunt. Whereas in New World, you have multiple AoE taunts. I think almost every taunt is AoE actually, and it's pretty regular, 15 seconds, 25 seconds if you're spec'd properly. But I'll, one thing that is a bit different about the two games is the community. There's gonna come a time where you're in a dungeon and there's gonna be a boss staring at you and you have to clear some trash up, and your friend with a musket just decides he's gonna go fucking Lee Harvey Oswald and put a bullet in it. And people do not wait for the tank to generate threat on this game at all. It's kind of hilarious, and you'll watch them like they'll pull like six things and then they'll start like running scared. They're like trying to run to the tank, and I'm just like, man, let me pull the shit, bro. But yeah, that's one big difference. The way the community treats mobs and bosses, it's kind of funny. Which would drag me to the next point, and that is trying to group mobs together is much harder on New World. And the reason why mostly is because of the body block. Anytime I try to pull an entire room and like drag them around a corner and get line of sight, man, that shit don't work. It don't work. I'm getting hit by 17 things. They're knocking me down. I'm trying to get to the range so it's not killing my Lee Harvey with a musket. And it's a pain in the ass. The body block in this game is so frustrating. I understand why it's there, but sheesh, man. But given the body block, it's a good thing that we don't have to worry about as tanks interrupting things like we do in WoW, because that would be very difficult. Because we all know that the DPS are not going to interrupt anything. They're barely going to do mechanics, and they're just going to pew pew the whole time. So yeah, well, I mean, definitely glad that there's no interrupt. And if you stand back and hold your shield up, generally you're going to be okay. You don't have to do a whole lot. So I mean, I guess that's good and bad depending on what you're looking for by tanking. Which I do know one thing is sword and shield. I don't care what other weapon you're using to tank. If it's not a sword and shield primary, or at least if you don't have one for a boss, you are at a significant disadvantage. Significant disadvantage. The shield defensive tree has some of the most broken passives in the game for tanking. Unfortunately, though, tanking as of right now in New World is a bit it's not as proactive. You don't have a lot of active mitigation. You have the defiant stance, and you can reduce the cooldown on that some, but all that is slapping his shield and getting some fortified. Like, I would like to see more buttons for like when Thorpe is ripping your head off, because he hurts very badly, and I can only imagine the bosses later on in the game will as well. But yeah, definitely less active mitigation on New World compared to WoW or retail WoW. I feel like it's like playing a freaking bear druid in classic WoW, to be honest, where you just kind of stand there and become a meat shield. But it's all good. I say that as I'm looking at my World of Warcraft video and realizing that I do not have a shield equipped on my prop paladin. I normally play Holy Paladin for my guild, or I did when I played, and raid heroic and somewhat of mythic and stuff. But my dumbass didn't have a shield, and I know if any any person with about their salt in the WoW community sees this, they're gonna flame me for not using Shield of the Righteous and Avenger Shield. But damn it, I know. All right, I know. I know I didn't have a shield on, but I was too far into the dungeon for the clip to not keep it anyway, so it's there. Fuck it. With that said, though, one thing I would like to see is more options available for people that actually want to tank. A lot of these games, Overwatch, you know, it's very cut and dry when it comes to tanking. You fulfill the same role. Wow, a lot of the classes nowadays feel the same. Tanking generally is, I wouldn't say frowned upon, but less popular than anything else because people just want to do big numbers and they don't want to just stand there holding up a shield, right? So if we could find some more creative ways to tank, that would be great, and especially more weapons, right? You can use hatchet and sword, you could use hammer and sword, you could use great axe and sword, but one thing you're gonna fucking use is sword because it's so good while tanking. If they added more weapons, one thing I do like about New World versus WoW is like I have the ability to run a sword and a life staff like a paladin build, or a sword and a hatchet with the berserk, or a sword and a hammer, things like that. So that's cool. Like imagine some of the combinations if we could get more tanking weapons, and I assume that they will do that. There's no way, right, that the NPCs have a spear and a shield and we can't use a spear to shield. So I'm assuming that more of that will be introduced, and I'm looking forward to it for sure. So that brings up kind of the final question: which is harder? And that really is a tough one. Uh, I don't think particularly that either are hard. I mean, retail WoW. The thing about tanking, at least raid tanking, is you fall asleep. Uh, all the tanking comes from the Mythic Plus dungeons, which is the Mario speedrun, right? New World has some of the same tanking as Classic, which I think is more in line with what is cool about tanking. Is there's certain gear breakpoints and things like that, things of that nature that you need. Think about General Thorpe. You have to have like 9,500, 9,800 health plus like 1250 resistance, and that's cool to me. You can't just send any Yahoo in there. And then there's you have to actually play the class, and like I'm not gonna lie, the first time I killed Thorpe, I think I was dead. I mean, I tanked it to like maybe 5%, and they finished it off. But that mother trucked me, man, and that was cool. I really like depths. I don't like getting stuck in bad groups and depths. It sucks. But I think potentially tanking at least instances that are not timed is probably gonna be harder in New World. Because this stuff does hurt, and it hurts really bad. And if you don't have the Constitution, if you don't have a sword and shield, like, good luck, bro. Good luck. It's just gonna suck. So the real question is, what is more fun? And I think the New World actually edges it out in that regard as well. I'm not a big fan of Mythic Dungeons, so if you like tanking those, I get that. But raid tanking in WoW or retail WoW, and even in Classic WoW, it's boring, man. And I think New World brings a new flavor to tanking. Like I said, if we added more weapons, like it would be really good and really interesting. The body block is annoying, but yeah, I mean, I came into New World thinking I was going to play a mage with Ice Gauntlet and Fire Staff. Then everybody started hopping on that after I did. Not saying that I was the influencer or whatever, because nobody watches my shit, but I switched to tanking because a lot of my friends were doing DPS, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I've stayed there, and I've solo quested as tanking. So yeah, tanking in New Worlds, if you're looking to get into it, I might pop up a build video or something soon. It's fun. I like it, and you might like it too. Not sure. You guys can think anything between the two games that you would like to add. Put them in the comments. Like, sub, bell, all that shit. And I will be back. Peace.